What's going on, y'all? So, due to the pandemic, we've got some dolls that has been made available to us for an extended amount of time. A Reaper is 60 days trial right now. Logic is 90 days trial, and so I downloaded and installed and just want to jump into Logic for the first time in over 10 years. It's been over 10 years since I've really set and used Logic. I started out using Logic 5 and then I moved to Pro Tools. And after Pro Tools, I started learning Studio One. While I was learning Pro Tools, I was engineering in Pro Tools but continued to produce in Logic. And then after learning Pro Tools, I really put down producing and making beats and just engineered full time. But I've been getting back into making beats a little bit just for the fun of it. And I got a whole lot of tracks that I made in Logic over those years that I've got still on the hard drive, but I just never had a way to open them because I didn't have Logic. So I thought this is a good time for me to see what Logic is all about now and just kind of how it's changed from what I last remember it and opening up and looking at it. Well, first of all, a lot of my sessions I tried to open up, most of them opened up correctly, not all of them. I am, of course, missing some stuff that I had 10 years ago that I don't have anymore. But it's good that most of them did open up from 10 years ago. So that was a nice, so huge thumbs up for Logic on that for just going along with compatibility from that long ago. Looking at the session here, so I'll play this in just a second, but this is a track that I made over 10 years ago in Logic. And just looking at the layout here, I can still move around it pretty easy. And Logic was never hard to learn to me. There's, some dolls out there. Ableton is confusing to me. Reaper, I couldn't really pick that up and move around very easily, just without. And when I say move around easily, I mean jumping right into this, not reading a manual, and just kind of seeing how far I can get. I've used Logic before, so I don't need the manual for this, but a few things that I've just noticed here. Visually, I like the look of it. It still, reminds me and looks like Logic with just some updated UI. But two things I noticed right off the bat here that bothers me: the sample rate. In Studio One, you've got the sample rate down there in the transport section. You don't have that with Logic, and as right now, I'm missing that. I like to see what sample rate it's set to, just so you can, if you're using multiple devices, you got some A to D converters, couple interfaces. I've got two interfaces connected to a clock, and I like to be able to quickly confirm that everything is running at the same sample rate. Because if everything's not running at the same sample rate, you will run into problems. A second thing that I noticed here is at the bottom of the screen, these green instrument tracks, they just say instrument 1, instrument 2, instrument 3. I was trying to find a way to rename them because up here, I've got them all the tracks are named, and I was looking in functions and really didn't see anything. Let me look down in the mixer section. No, nothing there. Nothing there. View. And I don't see anything there. So I'm sure I can do it. I just don't know how. Sends on faders. What's that? Oh, nice. Okay, so I like that because I'm not a fan of this wheel knob. Yeah, I don't like that. I like the Studio One, the left to right. You just move your mouse left and right. With this being able to move it as a fader, yeah, I do like that option. That's nice. And yeah, but let's play this track real quick. I'll let you hear it, and what I'll do is I'll jump into these instrument tracks here and just probably pull up some stock plugins and play around with them for a little bit. I do remember I've always liked the stock plugins in Logic. So let's play this track real quick.
My man Czar make tracks like this.
Okay, so that's the track, and so I'm gonna mute this now. We'll just deal with these instrument tracks and see what we've got here. So the another thing kind of I'm missing. I don't see a way that I can jump into the EXS24 from here. I guess maybe if I do the, where is it? Is it this? No. There we go. Yeah, I guess I can get it to it here. But I do like in Studio One, you can click on the track there and it'll open up the plugin window or instrument window. So man, it's been a long time since I've seen the EXS24, and this is one thing that I feel like PreSonus and Studio One can step up, is just the stock sounds and like presence and everything. That's right. I do feel Logic has an edge on Studio One, is just the stock sounds of the EXS24. The I do, and compared to Presence though, I do feel like this is a little more confusing or harder just to look at. I feel like Presence is laid out nicer. You can get to your settings, but if you've been using Logic for a while, then you should be familiar with the EXS24, and it shouldn't be that hard to really get around once you learn it. Let's see. So let's turn that loop back on. Okay, got the track muted, and let's just go through. It's like I got some already got some plugins on some of these tracks. Let's find something this doesn't have anything on. Let me see what this is. The strings. Okay. Let's just play with some stock plugins here. Like I will say for sure, these just the UI and the design of these stock plugins look really nice. Where is there we go, 100% drive. Okay, so I can dial in just of course normally I would put this on the bus, but I'm just doing this to move along pretty quickly. So we can dial in some reverb for these strings. So I will say I'm finding this annoying. This three, like, what was this? This bypass, get into the settings and to change the plugin. It's a small target area to get the mouse in there. So I am getting kind of annoyed by that. Let's check out. Let's find a compressor here. Oh, okay. This is definitely not the compressor that I remember seeing 10 years ago. What do we have here? Okay, it looks like a Focusrite. Obviously an 1176. Classic VCA. It's a DBX. SSL. Okay. Assuming this is meant to be an LA2A, except with a ratio. Vintage FET. What is this? I'm going to say this might be a Blueface. Yeah, I'm assuming this is a Blueface 1176 is what I'm assuming. These look really nice. Let's especially this Focus right here. All right, let's see what we can. Let me find. Let's get off these strings. It's just the drums. Let's see. Okay, let's take this kick and let's see. Let's throw that compressor on and let's see what we can do with that. We're definitely getting some more punch with this distortion here. That's nice. Okay, so yeah, I don't want this video to go on too long, but it's just, I'd say it's cool just seeing and using Logic again after so long. At this point, I mean, it's not enough to me to switch back over from Studio One, but I just I just feel like a kid that left his old neighborhood and came back to see how it was doing. But if you're taking advantage and checking out some of these DAWs that's available for an extended time, comment, let me know. I checked out Reaper and just really couldn't get into it, but just because I had some history with Logic, it was easier for me to jump into this and kind of stick with it and play around with it some more. But I'm continue to use it, maybe try to do some tracks in it and see where that takes me, and see if it'll be enough for me to actually purchase Logic after these 90 days. All right, any questions, comments, y'all let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. I want to invite everyone to check out my new podcast, the Faders Up Podcast. It's a podcast about pro audio. I've got me and 3 other Nashville professionals. We're discussing pro audio topics, pro audio lifestyle. And it's available on Apple Podcasts and it's available on Spotify. So check it out, rate it, let me know what you think.